This is one of the most insane game lots and collections I have ever purchased. Let's talk about it.
We are on our way to pick up another awesome game lot. Now, there's some really cool stuff in this lot, including some vintage Nintendo collectibles. We're going to head on down to Atlanta, Georgia.
This is probably my favorite lot that I have bought in quite some time because not only is it's just all quality. It's all quality stuff. It's definitely quality over quantity, although there is a lot of stuff in the lot. One of the things I love about it is there are a ton of vintage Nintendo collectibles in this lot. And you guys know I love vintage Nintendo collectibles. But just to give you a little sneak peek before we head back to the house, you can see we got a Z-Bag here. We got a fantastic N64 in here. I don't want to spoil everything in here for you guys until we get to the house, but this tote has some of the best stuff in it, in my opinion. I mean, you can see this vintage Mario doll here. All right, everybody, we are back in the game room, and it is time to show you this epic game lot, this epic collection I bought in greater detail. And this is easily one of my favorite collections that I've bought in quite some time. There's a lot of really cool, really rare, really expensive, really unique stuff. Now we got a small handful of Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games that you can see on the screen in the B-roll clip, but a few notable games that I want to point out to everybody. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which is just an awesome Game Boy Color game, and Mega Man 2 and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now there's actually quite a few boxed consoles, handhelds, and accessories in this lot. I'm going to show you a few of those right now. We have a boxed Platinum GameCube, complete in box Glacier Game Boy Advance. It's kind of an oddball one, a complete in box Nintendo 64 RF Switch, a complete in box black and red Nintendo DS Lite. Now this is something you don't see very often. A boxed gray NES Zapper. And then this one is really sweet. This is a boxed original Game Boy, and it is in fantastic condition. And we also have a boxed OG Xbox. I want to show you some other miscellaneous things from the tote that I'm opening right now. We got an original Nintendo 64 travel bag. These are always fun to find. A sealed NES Classic controller. Complete in box copy of Silent Service on the NES. Now this is one you don't see very often. This is the Super Mario All-Stars limited edition release on the Nintendo Wii, and this is the big box version. And this is also kind of an oddball one. This is Fling Smash on the Wii, and apparently there was a big box release that came with both the game and a Wii Motion Plus Wiimote. Loose Sega Genesis Model 3, and we got some loose handhelds. And all of these handhelds work, which is great. An NES cartridge docking bay, which holds 10 NES cartridges, and what's really cool about this thing is how it opens up. So it opens up almost like a conveyor belt, and then your cartridges go slotted in here, and then you get to close it back up. And then we have this. Let's see if I can even get this to show up all the way in the frame. This is a Nintendo Video Game Center for the NES. So you would have your NES in here, and you could have controllers and cartridges and things like that, and you could actually have this on your entertainment center to store your NES in. And a quick things to point out here. We've got a complete in box Guitar Hero 2 guitar bundle and a Rock Band 2 wireless guitar for the Wii. We have a boxed Model 2 Sega Genesis, and this was the version that came with a cartridge for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now what's cool about this one, so this is the super set that came with Super Mario World, but what's cool about this one is that it still has the special offer ad. You don't really see them very often that still have that sticker on the front of them. And lastly, we have a fully CIB NES sports set. It has everything in it that it comes with, which is pretty freaking awesome to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now here's the thing. What I've showed you so far barely even scratches the surface, because what we're about to get into next are the games, and there's a lot of amazing games in this collection. And then after that, I'm going to show you guys the vintage Nintendo items, and then I'm going to show you the most expensive thing in the lot. But before we get to all that, I actually have a sponsor for today's video. So without further ado, join me for just a quick moment while I tell you about today's sponsor, Star Trek Fleet Command.
Get ready for an epic journey in this free-to-play MMO game, Star Trek Fleet Command. In this game, you will be building a fleet, commanding your ships, creating alliances, and taking over other territories as you take part in strategic battles in space. As you do all these exciting things, you will engage with millions of other players worldwide in battles or alliances as you work on upgrading your own fleet. You will be recruiting legendary characters to inhabit iconic ships spanning 50 years of Star Trek history as you send them on missions to explore and expand your territory. Get ready for new officers such as Captain Carol Freeman or Commander Jack Ransom, 15 new missions, a new ship to command, and much more. So consider checking out Star Trek Fleet Command and downloading it for free using the link in the video description or pinned comment. Now back to the content, and thank you to Star Trek Fleet Command for sponsoring today's video.
Next, I'm going to show you a couple of DS games that are in the lot, but then I'm going to show you all the disc-based stuff. We got some Wii, PS2, PS1, and some Xbox. Now, in terms of the Nintendo DS, there's only 3, but they're 3 good games. So we have Henry Hatsworth, which my friend Jay from the YouTube channel Square Pegs actually helped work on the development of this game. Spider-Man Battle for New York, and Animal Crossing Wild World. There's a really good stack of Nintendo GameCube games in this lot, and almost all of them are complete in box. So we have Now, what I would say are the most notable games in the GameCube stack are these: Luigi's Mansion, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and Mario Kart Double Dash. And this copy of Mario Kart Double Dash is the version with the bonus disc, and it is fully CIB. There's a couple of Xbox games and one Xbox 360 games, nothing major. We got Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dawn of Destiny, Midnight Club 3. But this is pretty cool. This is like the collector's edition version of Halo 3. Actually, a pretty notable little stack of PS1 games. So we have got a very solid stack of Nintendo Wii games as well. So we have and finally on the PS2 we have the most noticeable game in the PS2 stack would be Automodelista, which is a pretty rare PS2 game. Alright folks, next up I'm going to show you most of the cartridge games. Now, I'm not going to show you every single individual game because there's like 35 NES games, like 40 N64 games, and about 15 Super Nintendo games, and a handful of box Sega Genesis games. I will show you those. So I'm going to show you what I feel are the highlights. Captain Planet and the Planeteers, that's one that you don't see very often. Captain America and the Avengers, another one you don't see very often. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Manhattan Project, the rarest of the 3 Turtles games. And of course, you can't go wrong with Zelda 1 and 2 Gold Card versions. However, the rarest item that I have here on the NES is this unlicensed game called Galactic Crusader, and it comes with this custom dust sleeve that actually came in the box with the game. Now, not a whole lot on the Super Nintendo front, but there's some pretty quality stuff here. So the notable games that I want to point out: Soldiers of Fortune. Now, the reason I pointed this one out is because you don't see this game very often. It's kind of uncommon. Then we have a super clean copy of Doom, which I just bought a box and manual from Jared from Retro Gaming Pandemic, so this is going to enable me to make that complete. Super Mario World, a staple for the console. Another uncommon Super Nintendo game, The Incredible Crash Dummies. And another staple for the console, Super Mario All-Stars. Oh, there's a random Sega Game Gear game I forgot to show, and that is Taz and Escape from Mars. It's getting harder and harder to find box Sega Genesis games, so here's what we have: X-Men, Beavis and Butthead, Batman Forever, The Lion King, Tasmania, Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition, Captain America and the Avengers, Mortal Kombat Anthology Sub-Zero, Xena Warrior Princess, Doom 64, Pokemon Stadium, Perfect Dark, Mario Kart 64 Player's Choice, GoldenEye 007, Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox 64, not a game, but we do have a Game Shark Pro here. And lastly, the banger of the bunch, and that is Paper Mario. random thing we have in this lot, we have one of the Nintendo 64 cartridge storage drawers, which again, these things are becoming harder and harder to come by in decent condition. In this lot, there was a basically brand new Super NES Classic. There was a used but in really good condition NES Classic. There was a used PlayStation Classic. There was a Jungle Green Nintendo 64 with matching controller. And all of those things I've already actually sold on eBay. Alright folks, so we've come to my favorite part of this entire collection, all of the vintage Nintendo items and collectibles, and it's pretty crazy stuff, so I'm going to show you that stuff right now. Now this guy's not really vintage, this is the Mario DS holder, but it is still pretty hard to find from 2011, and it's a really cool piece to have in a collection. Boxed Game Boy Illuminator. Now this is super unique, I've never seen this before. Super Mario Bros. Print World. It's got like some floppy disks in here, it's got some graphics, so some stationery, different things like that. Pretty freaking cool. Look at this guy right here. This is the Applause Mario doll. It still has the plastic Applause tag on it, and the hat is still on there and still stitched to his head. Now this is a pretty cool little thing. This is a little gold Mario trophy, and it says it is a Nintendo World Touch DS Platinum Member Memorial. So this is one of those things where you could only get from Club Nintendo using your points. Next up is something that I'm really hoping to be able to keep from this lot, and that is this Super Mario Bros. Watch. It is from 1992, but what I really want to show you is how goofy Mario looks on this watch. Take a look at this. Look at his eyes bugging out and his ears sticking out. Really, really weird looking. We've got not one, not two, but three vintage piggy banks. We have the Mario and the Luigi. The Mario, unfortunately, is missing the plug, but the Luigi has the plug, and these are matching piggy banks. And we also have another shorter Mario piggy bank from a different line. Unfortunately, this one is also missing the plug. This Nintendo sign, the seller told me that the collector he got this from said that this was a sign that was above a Wii or a Wii U kiosk. The problem is it doesn't have an officially licensed logo on it, so I can't say for certain, but it's still a pretty nice looking sign. Now you guys know I love certain vintage lunchboxes, and this lot came with two really awesome vintage lunchboxes. Thankfully, I already have both of these, but we have this one, which has the thermos in it. And then we also have this one, which I have this one, but I don't have the blue one. Mine is red. However, this one is missing the thermos. Now this is a really cool vintage item. This is an official Donkey Kong piggy bank still in the packaging. Basically, you would drop a coin on this and it would roll down just like the barrels in the Donkey Kong game, and then it would eventually drop into the bank. Issue number 4 of the Adventures of Super Mario Bros. Comic. This next piece is really cool, and it's another one I'm really hoping to be able to keep. It is from the Nintendo 64 era, Donkey Kong chest slamming figures. It's got Donkey Kong and Kiddy Kong. Not one, but two of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Happy Meal display signs. Now these would have been the signs that were in the display that showed all 4 of the toys. These signs would be in the back of the glass display, and it would be lit up with the toys in the display showing off to all the kids. There are 3 more vintage Nintendo items I want to show you guys, but they're not actually in the house. I got to take you out to my storage building outside to show you these 3 things. So let's head out there real quick. First thing I want to show you is the late 80s Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda toy chest. Now this guy is in really good condition. Nintendo Z-Bag. Really, really cool. Inside the chest is this official Nintendo Authorized Repair Center LED sign. Now I would show you what it looks like lit up, but I don't want to take it into the house. But it looks really nice lit up, super rare. And lastly, we have one of the Nintendo cabinets for the NES, and this thing is in fantastic condition. This is a loose Pokemon Nintendo 64 controller. It's like a $90 to $100 controller. Fantastic condition, tight stick. But that leads me to the most expensive item in this entire game lot. That's right, folks. In this game lot, we have a complete in-box, beautiful condition Pikachu Nintendo 64. Not only is the console and controller on the inside in great condition, but the box itself is in really good condition as well, minus a few spots here and there. This is like a $900 to $1,000 plus complete in box console. Woo! Again, folks, this is one of my favorite collections that I bought in quite some time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to Star Trek Fleet Command for sponsoring today's video.